Following the defeat of Master Roshi, Johnny Storm the Human Torch, and Ben Grimm the Thing, King Piccolo looked to enact the next phase of his plan. Having Emperor Pilaf and his stooges working as his henchmen under the threat of death, the group would collect the Dragon Balls with haste. Upon having all of them gathered together, Shenron the Dragon would be summoned forth, as the Demon King Piccolo would ask for eternal youth as his wish. Once being granted his full form and vigor, he would make short work in destroying the dragon, ensuring that no wish could ever be made again and that his reign could never be challenged. However, our heroes were working on ways to oppose him, with Reed, Susan, Tien, and Chaozu working on the portal to the negative zone, believing that this would be the best way to deal with the Demon King. If they could trap him inside, at least he'd have no way of escaping. As far as they knew, Reed was the only one on Earth who had an actual working portal to the negative zone, the only thing keeping them from escaping it. As such, as long as he kept the portal under watch, or if he just flat out destroyed it afterwards, then King Piccolo could never break free. He would be stuck in a negative void, disconnected from any other reality, where there, even if he had eternal youth, he could wither away till the ends of time. In the meanwhile, Goku, Yamcha, and Bulma would learn that Yajirobe was actually an associate of Master Korn, and the group would travel back to Korn Towers. After all, Goku was told that if he ever sought out more power or needed to get stronger, he could always come back there. And Master Korn was expecting it, given the change of circumstance in the world, and he was surprised to see that Goku had visitors, in the likes of Bulma and Yamcha. "Well, it seems it didn't take you too long to invite your friends to come up here," Master Korn would say. "I'm sorry for the intrusion," Goku would tell to the Master. "But please, it's really urgent." "Yes, King Piccolo has returned to the world, and he will not be an easy one to stop. I was hoping you might have a way of helping me get stronger." "But you've already gotten so strong. There's nothing more that I could do for you. After all, the sacred water is just water, and you and your friend are able to get up the tower with ease, so I doubt that training would do you much good." "But is there anything?" There could be something. Say, Yajirobe." Yajirobe looked over to Korn, not wanting to get involved in the cat's antics. "Say, you still have that pot?" "Nuh-uh, no way. You're thinking about sending them there, huh, Korn? You're gonna get them killed. It's nonsense, stupid, waste of time. I won't get involved." "It's not like I'm asking you to go, you fat, lazy moron. It's for them. I mean, unless you think that you're strong enough to take on the king." No, let me go fetch it." Before long, Yajirobe would return with what appeared to be a kettle and pot. Korn would reveal that this was the gateway to another realm, a place where they could find a certain type of water. It was called the Ultra Divine Water, a special water capable of bringing out one's own inner power, to their fullest potential at least. If Goku and Yamcha wanted to take the quest, then they could go after it. The two boys would go eagerly as they hopped inside of the pot, as it were, traveling to what was essentially another dimension. Of course, Bulma was entirely dumbfounded by this, the concept that another dimension could be hidden away inside of a pot of all things. But how? How does something like this even work? A whole other dimension inside of something so small? You people of science in your big cities, and yet some concept like this is what stumps you? Yes, A world can be placed inside of anything, a dimension in and of itself. The containment for what the dimension isn't necessarily indicative of where that place will be. What I'm saying is that this pot is nothing more but a doorway. A lot of traveling between worlds is about finding the doorway. A door can come in many shapes and sizes, don't you know? A big door, regular door, a small door. It's just about learning how to find that door and then learning how to get in it. I mean, for all you know, there could be a doorway to a world even greater than this one. You just haven't found it yet. This left Bulma more intrigued now than ever before. She had been thinking about dabbling into the research of other worlds. There were even those who hypothesized that there could be what some called a microverse, where if you were able to shrink down just enough, you could find yourself in another universe. And, of course, there was the opposite of being true. If you grew so large and big enough, you might be able to move beyond the barrier of a dimension you were already in. Of course, this was all speculation and rumor, but still, it was one worth exploring. In the meantime, Yamcha and Goku would make their way through the other realm, looking and falling past many of the traps that were laid forth, traps of illusions, and trying to steer them off of their path, until they eventually found who they had come to see. The goddess of sort, the guardian who called herself Darkness. Who or what she truly was, the boys had no idea, but she knew why they had come. Searching for the ultra-divine water, she was more than happy to give it to them. Granted, if they could survive the aftermath. The boys would accept the challenge that came with the water, and as they took their drink, they immediately found themselves collapsing as they were dispelled from the dimension back to Korin Towers. Bulma was instinctually worried for Goku and for Yamcha. What on earth's going on with them? This is the side effects of taking in the ultra-divine water. You could say that to bring out the true potential, it acts as a poison to the body, bringing out that forefront of power. A poison? What type of poison makes you stronger? It weeds out all of that icky weakness within a person. It drags out all of their latent potential, their fullest capabilities. It's like a forced change, like a forced evolution. You could say. Imagine a flower or a tree, a plant that grows naturally, but at its own pace, it could take a while. These two are the plants, and unfortunately, you don't have time to waste. So you could say that we're expediting the process, which could do one of two things. They either grow or they shrivel up and die. But as they say, pressure is what makes diamonds. It also crushes coal. Bulma would retort as she tried to make sure the boys were as comfortable as they could be. Yeah, but if you have faith in them the way you seem to, then I think they're going to come out on the other side just fine. But for now, keep watch over them, and we'll have to wait and see what happens. Bulma would have no choice but to do just that, watching over the boys and hoping they could come out of this strong enough to face the dangers that lied ahead. Meanwhile, King Piccolo was already looking to establish his reign. He had decided on a lottery, but it was pointless. The lottery was to determine which city he was going to decimate first, but he already had his sights set. West City. Specifically because that's where the last of the Scruffians remained. The so-called heroes. Piccolo hovered over the Baxter building, blowing off the roof and looking down at the inhabitant. Reed looked up along with Susan and Tien as they were still finishing up the last touches on the portal to the negative zone. Susan would immediately hold up her arms, forming a barrier around the Baxter building. Piccolo would launch a key attack, and just barely her force field managed to hold it off. A powerful one indeed. But no matter. How long can you keep it up? Let's play a game, shall we? I'm going to fire off blasts non-stop, and we're gonna see how long you can keep that force field. How long can you shield yourself? With that, King Piccolo would shoot rapid fires of ki blasts at the Baxter building. With no choice, Susan would use the power of her force field to its fullest extent, raising her ki to the max, while Reed and Tien continued to work. Tien wanted to help, but he still had to focus on his job. He was the only one capable of assisting Reed in getting the portal full to completion. But still, even when they did, it was going to be a matter of knocking him inside. Susan could only hold it up for so long. She could only keep up the defense. We just need a little more time, Susan. Please, just hang on. I'm trying my best, Reed. He's a lot more powerful. She has an impressive will. But it is said that humans can draw out great power and potential when they are fighting to protect what matters most to them. For Susan, that's how she felt. Besides protecting Reed and Tien and Chaozu, young Franklin was also with them. For Susan, she was protecting her family against this monster that killed her brother, her best friend, tried to injure her son, Goku. Susan looked up at him fiercely. That's the look. You humans always know when to make it. It's always a matter of fight or flight. Most choose to run when overcome with a great power that they can't possibly comprehend. But you humans are something else. A tenacity within you. As much as it sickens me to say, I do admire that trait because so few of you actually have it. So many humans cower with their tails between their legs. They run off without even bothering. They cower away and hide under rocks like filthy animals. But you are one of the few exceptional ones. The ones of whom never seem to quit, never lacking in guts or ambition. It is a shame that you are my enemy, because I believe that with your potential, you could have truly become something great. But it is only the course of nature. Your lot in life is to kneel at my feet. But I will make you an offer. If you submit yourself to me, I'll let you and the boy live. Like I would ever give in to a monster like you. There is no one like me. There are always men like you. Then allow me to make you an example. With a final blast, he managed to break through the barrier. Without warning, King Piccolo would send in one of his newest offspring in Drum. The creature moved quickly enough as Tien would intercept him. In the meantime, King Piccolo would descend, grabbing young Franklin and holding him above in the air. Reed and Susan were horrified. Stop it! Let go of my son! Susan would go flying into the air, charging with everything she had, looking to knock a full-powered wave at the king, only for him to backhand it with ease, knocking her down to the ground. Reed would try to expand his body as highly as he could, but he too would be blown back. Little Franklin feared for his life, being held up by the scary monster. crying for his older brother, for his mom, his dad, his uncles, anyone. Just someone help him. This is the difference between you and I. My children are no more than a pawn to me. They do my bidding, and they do so willingly, an extension of my will. But you are held on by mere sentiment. You could make many children 100 times over, yet you fear for the loss of one. That weakness makes you predictable, and predictability will always be your downfall. But don't worry, you all will be rejoined soon enough in the afterlife. King Piccolo would fling poor little Franklin in the air, preparing to shoot a mouth energy beam and to eviscerate the boy. But before he could, the flying nimbus cloud would quickly move over towards Franklin, pushing him out of harm's way. And from out of nowhere, Goku would headbutt the king right in the back, knocking him down into the city below, as Yamcha would come firing in a fire blast of his own. King Piccolo would have to launch a ki blast just to equal it, only for Goku to slam a Kamehameha wave in his gut. Get the hell away from my family, Piccolo. You should know your place, boy. I am your king. You're no king. You're just a monster. A monster that's going to pay. And you think that you're going to change things. What can you do now that you couldn't back then? The king wasn't even given a chance. Goku and Yamcha would combine their powers together, the two of them becoming almost unstoppable. Tien, meanwhile, was holding his own against Drum, but even he was still on the back foot. Thankfully, though, Bulma would come in. She stayed hidden and waited. This is what she created her weapons for. The firearm she carried on her side was a specially made gun that shot off a powerful energy beam. She had been testing it out for a while now, using some of the advanced technology from Reed and from the Fantastic Four. In doing so, she created a ray gun that was capable of taking out some pretty powerful opponents, shooting Drum in the left wing, causing him to fall over in agony. She would quickly move over to Tien and throw him a Senzu bean, allowing him to recover his strength and to deal with the son of King Piccolo with ease, destroying him with a tri-beam attack. After doing so, he would go back with Reed, who now safely was with Susan and with their child. Quick, we need to get the portal up and running. If we can get them in the right position, then we can seal away King Piccolo once and for all. Tien would nod immediately, as the two of them would get to work. Meanwhile, down below, Yamcha and Goku were holding their own against King Piccolo. Yamcha, getting an opening, would go in for a new combination attack he had been working on. Flaming Emperor Wolf Fang Fist! The flaming paws of the wolf striking away at King Piccolo, causing him to bow to a knee, as Goku would come charging in, launching yet another Kamehameha wave. As King Piccolo tried to dodge, Goku would curve the energy beam, knocking him in the back of the head. It was just then that Bulma would call out to Goku and to Yamcha, the two retreating immediately. The king wondered why they would leave so suddenly. Were they running low on power? Were they now on the back foot? No matter. This is what he needed. He was going to destroy the whole damn building, to raze it to the ground. As he arrived to the top floor, he saw that both Goku and Yamcha were waiting for him. The two of them with energy blast of their own. King Piccolo would create an own energy attack, somehow overmatching the both of them. As he did so, he he would go charging in once more. At first, he thought his attacks had landed. He kicked Yamcha in the gut, causing him to kneel over, before grabbing Goku by the chin and stabbing him in the stomach, his nails of his fingers extending like talons. Enough with the games, boy. Major, look. The Goku in his hands would quickly fade, along with Yamcha. It was like they were never there. They weren't after images. Clones. As he looked back behind, immediately he was hit with a powerful force wave from Susan, knocking him in front of the gateway as Reed would activate the portal. The energy of the Baxter building would fire on all cylinders as the portal to the negative zone would open, King Piccolo being sucked in by the portal itself. He tried desperately to fight his way out. Thankfully, Tien had used the power of creating his doubles and transforming their look with his ki, just enough to fool the king. With the portal now activated, Tien, Yamcha, and Goku would combine their final attacks together. Goku launching the Kamehameha wave, Yamcha launching a flaming ball of fire mixed in with his own ki, and Tien launching as powerful of a tri-beam as he could. All three attacks would slam into the king, as half of his body was now going into the portal. No! Not like this! It can't be! Susan would put all of her efforts into creating a force field around the portal and King Piccolo, containing most of the energy to just that spot as he was slowly pulled in. However, the king was not one to give up easily, as with all of his strength, he barely forced the force field open. This isn't over. You won't. You'll pay. The king would begin to cough something up, spitting something out of his mouth, with a final yell and gasp as he was pulled inside of the machine. Immediately, Reed would shut it down, with the portal to the negative zone closed. And for King Piccolo, he had no way of escaping. With a final attack, the boys would destroy the portal, ensuring that there was no gateway. And with that, they would take rest, knowing that the crisis had finally been averted. Although there was victory, there was still loss and defeat. Unfortunately, there was the deaths of their friends and allies. And with the Dragon Balls destroyed, they could never use them again. Their friends were trapped in the other world. Or so they thought. It would be a few days later as West City was still rebuilding. Goku was with his friends and family when there was a knock at the door. At first, they were surprised that it opened so suddenly, but they were even more surprised when they saw who had walked through it. There was a pudgy man who looked like that of a genie, and standing by his side. Oh no, it's King Piccolo! Reed couldn't believe it. No, it can't be. He couldn't have escaped the negative zone. It's impossible! Fret not. I am not King Piccolo. Then who are you? Tien and Yamcha would say, the both of them ready for a fight. I am the guardian of Earth. My name is Kami. Korin once mentioned that there is a guardian of the Earth, Goku would say. But How do we know it's you? How can we trust that you are who you say you are? Kami would use a special technique, implanting his memories into the minds of everyone in the room, allowing them to see that he was telling the truth. Although some still had their reservations, not knowing if these memories were true or just false ones that he had implemented. But Goku had a way of sensing these type of things. He could tell that there was no malice or no false intent. They were real. Even if what you're saying is true, Goku would say, why are you here? I have come to help. The Dragon Balls that you have sought after, I had wished to restore them, to bring the allies you lost back to life. You can do that, Susan would say. My brother, Ben, you can bring them all back? I can, Mrs. Richards. If you will please trust me. The group watched as the Dragon Balls would be summoned together. After doing so, Shenron would reappear once again, fully restored. With the wish being made, Ben, Johnny, Krillin, and Roshi would all be brought back to life. Life on the other side was definitely a trip, to say the least, but they were definitely grateful to be back in the world of the living, and even more surprised to meet the Guardian of the Earth himself. You had managed to deal away with King Piccolo, and for that I am grateful. But I am afraid that he still lives on. They asked what he meant, as Kami would explain that before being sealed off, the king had launched one final offspring into the world, an offspring that would raise itself in 3 years' time and would seek revenge for its father. There's another one? Then where is it? I mean, if we can hunt it down, Johnny would say. But is that right, though? What are you talking about, sis? That monster created another monster. What are we supposed to do? Just wait and let it grow up and then terrorize the world again? Tell me, Reed would ask, how much of this child is Piccolo? You could say that it's a Piccolo Jr. that we're dealing with. In a way, it is still its own person. It retains its own thoughts, mind, memories. It just simply knows who its master is and its wishes. So it's like a child. It is indeed. But if that's the case, can the child be changed? I mean, at least we can't kill it, can we? I don't think that killing it would be wise either, but I can't just allow it to roam free. And I believe that if there is a chance to stop it from raising again, I wish to take young Goku here under my wings, to teach him everything I know. You want to train our Goku? Susan would say. If you will allow me, yes, I would. Okay, am I the only one who sounds like we're taking crazy pills? Johnny would ask. Reed, Sue, come on. We can't just let this thing roam free. But we can't kill it either, Goku would say. You saw the memories, right? This thing, this Piccolo Jr., it's connected to you. If he dies, you die, and the Dragon Balls are gone forever. Is that such a bad thing, though? Ben would ask. The Dragon Balls are dangerous in the wrong hands. I'm not advocating for the Guardian of the Earth to die, but at the same time, would losing them be such a bad thing? At least compared to all the good it does, Uncle, Goku would say. I mean, yes, the Dragon Balls can be good or bad depending on how they're used. But as long as we're able to watch over them, then shouldn't it be fine? At the very least, no one should have to die or pay for the sins of what someone else has done. I agree. I won't let Piccolo Jr. do whatever he wants, and I will stop him if the time calls for it. But at the same time, if no one's committed any wrong, then I don't believe we should kill them. You truly speak with wisdom beyond your years, boy. That is why I wish to train you. Goku would turn to his father and mother, asking if that would be okay with them. They were fine with it as long as he was allowed to visit from time to time. And with that, Kami, Mr. Popo, and Goku would leave and go to the realm beyond, known as Kami's Lookout, that hovered high in the sky itself, beyond even the clouds. There, Goku would begin his training. In the meantime, the young hatchling was found. There were those who had been keeping a close eye on the affairs that transpired in West City, and one in particular that had his sights set on the worlds beyond. Are you sure this is wise, Master? This thing is the spawn of that Demon King Piccolo, and you bring it into our home. Do you doubt that Doom can protect his home? Do you have such little faith in Doom? No, Master. Latveria is Doom's home, and he will do how he sees fit. Remember who you answer to. Does Doom lower himself to answer you? No, sir. Good. I will raise him for myself, and I will see what he is truly capable of. Together, perhaps I can finally achieve what I could not all those years ago. I believe that Reed had found a special specimen in that monkey-tailed boy. And now Doom will have an apprentice for himself. By the time of the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament, that will be the time where we will re-emerge into the world, and the world shall truly know Doom. This concludes Dragon Ball Fantastic Tales. What if Goku joined the Fantastic Four, Season 1, Part 8. Stay tuned tomorrow morning as we continue with What if Goku joined the Fantastic Four, Dragon Ball Fantastic Tales, Season 1, Part 9. But anyway, that's going to do it for the end of today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. Signing off, and I'll see you next time.